Well, I started this project really like right before I had originally spoken to you. And I was concentrating on trying to document as like comprehensively as possible the human nests of Hamilton. And there's like basically an epidemic of people that are struggling being unhoused and with lack of resources in Hamilton. And I wanted to really immerse myself in this project, both capturing it and also just like in the social issue itself, learn more about it. I'm new to this area, and I have never lived in a place where it was such like a rampant issue, and also like a really kind of ignored issue. So that was kind of what got me excited about this project. And originally I was like on the hunt for evidence of human activity, I would say. I was looking for human nests and I wanted to capture them. I was really, really focused in like the arc of human inclusion to not take pictures of people. I was really concerned about people being able to be completely anonymous, and like respecting like their rights and privacy. I was worried about consent and like the inability to withdraw consent if someone had changed their mind about being involved in the project later on. But there's been like an absolute undeniable change in where this project has gone as my both like social, academic, and like actual physical research of like shooting kind of progressed. I realized that these aren't like abandoned nests. Right? These are actual physical nests that are being lived in by actual individuals right now. These nests disappear almost within like minutes, it seems, as people who are transient, like kind of like move around and, work on survival. So I started to evolve the project as I was shooting to also include people, the people that live in this nest, not in a portrait style, but just like their actual like existence as they were living in the nest. So the project has definitely gone on a little train ride since we last spoke, but I'm really excited to kind of share where it is right now and continue working on it in the future.
Remind me how long you've been in Hamilton for?
So I grew up outside of Hamilton in Pembroke. I spent like probably 18 years there. And then I ran away to Kingston, Ontario for my like budding adolescence and school years. And I've recently come back like in the last 5 years or so to this area. And it has been like an absolute delight getting to know the kind of GTA area again as an adult, but also there's, huge things that I didn't fully understand when I was I think like a youth. And there was parts of the city, of course, that as like a young woman, you're like not supposed to go to. So now that I'm a confident adult, seeing the world, trying new things, you are fully educated in everything the city has to offer. And that has really opened my eyes to a lot more.
In the last 5 years since you've been back, have you noticed or have you noticed an increase? And if so, what kind of increase? Like how is that manifested in front of your very eyes of these nests and of this homelessness condition? And like you obviously kind of saw it enough to develop a bit of a passion for it and a curiosity for it. So what's that progression been like for the past 5 years?
Definitely COVID obviously had a huge impact. I think that Hamilton wasn't the only city that saw a rise in homelessness because of like lack of resources, lack of shelter, and of course like the financial difficulties that the pandemic brought upon almost everyone, honestly. So that was something that was like physically obvious. You could see during the pandemic that more and more people were looking like freshly unhoused. I think that sometimes you can see like stories of the streets in people when you look at them. You can tell that they've been struggling to survive. They've been living a hard life, but they're doing it on their own. They're clearly doing it successfully, right? They're alive. They're participating in reality with you. But what I also was seeing was these like people that looked like lost and confused with like bags of stuff, that had been almost like immediately displaced. Like it looked very recent. So that was something that I was noticing a lot more, as well as in Hamilton in particular, a huge rise in women. There are more homeless women in Hamilton than men, which is something that
different than the norm.
I really was surprised. Like I had to do some research to be like, are we sure this is true, guys? I was reading it in the Hamilton Spectator, and I wanted to kind of do my own due diligence as I was doing my research. And there's there's of course the danger aspect to women being on the street. There's, you know, tons of supports that we could talk about for hours that people need, who are like experiencing like a lack of housing. But the project themselves in itself, there was less women who were willing to be involved in this project. I think like the fear of having your face shared and like a particular point in time is a fear. There were some people that I didn't want to document around certain houses because they are known to be shelters or refuges for people. And there are also some like secret addresses that are for women who are like currently and actively in dangerous situations. And I just really wanted to be delicate around that and not kind of like accidentally do more damage than good with the work that I was doing.